I guess I should say. I'm Rick Dancer with Exploregon, the Backstories. And we are in Lakeview, Oregon. And this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about revitalization of rural Oregon. It's a big topic around the state. A lot of things going on with it. This is the downtown area of Lakeview. That's the county courthouse. And we're going to be going in here. This is their theater. And some exciting things are going on here at the theater. And we're going to take you inside and show you and talk a little bit more about restoration, revitalization, and how things in Oregon are changing. So we're going to come in here. Now this theater is about like it was back in the old days. So we're going to come down here and find my wife, Kathy.
So I'm here with Ginger Casto. Is that right? Did I say that right?
You did it right.
All right.
Thank
now, and Ginger's going to tell you where she's, her title. It's a long one. So.
It is a long one. I'm the Rural Development Specialist for Lake County for South Central Oregon Economic Development District.
So we are here in the theater, and say the name of it's the
Alger Theater.
Yes. So can you kind of tell us what's been going on here? I mean, you were telling me stories, which I'm loving. So, but yeah, just kind of
What's going on with the theater?
Yes.
The Lakeview Community Partnership, which is a Main Street oriented program here in Lakeview, downtown revitalization program, took this project on and started looking at it about 3 years ago. And in December of 2017, we officially began fundraising to purchase the theater from the owners and take on some of the renovation pieces, although the theater has really been very well cared for. Built in 1940, we've got the original seats in here, and all of the decor and everything is very Art Deco and of that period. But we started the fundraising in December of 17, and we've raised about $100,000, a little less than $100,000 in the community for the purchase, which is going to be about $170,000. But then we've got quite a bit of renovation work that's going to be on top of that. Some electrical work and new carpet and, lots of some cosmetic things and that sort of thing.
So talk to me a little bit about economic development in this area, because revitalization, because I think rural Oregon is really taking charge of itself.
I think so, and I think we're in what I would term a revitalization phase, and what that means is that we're starting to look at what we don't have, and that we better be doing something. We lost our timber industry, or it was drastically reduced in the 80s, and a lot of communities have really mourned that loss, and now it's time to do something about it, because it's not going to come back. Yeah, right. The mourning is over.
Well,
now
didn't
what
people
are we
have
do?
hope that thought that maybe this will return?
I think so. Yeah, I think so, and I think that's pretty natural. But what we're really trying to do here, in Lake County, and obviously in the southern part of the county, because that's where most of the folks live, although we've got quite a contingency of folks in the north end too, is that we're trying to look at those industrial properties that we're involved in the timber industry, and what can we do to repurpose those and have the community actually have some stake and some say in what is going to happen with that.
And you have some exciting news, because I read this company coming in using your old wood products.
Right.
Talk about that. I think this is something that I don't hear this around the state.
It's pretty interesting. Red Rock Biofuels, and it is a company out of Colorado, and they are in the process of building a biofuel plant on the southern end of town. And the intent is to take wood waste out of the forest, what doesn't get used when they're doing logging, et cetera, and converting that into biofuel for airplanes and for regular on-the-ground kind of stuff. And this is what I understand, and I don't think I'm going to misspeak, but I think this is the only plant of its kind in the North American continent.
And that's how many? So that's 30 jobs plus outside jobs?
Yeah, probably around 25 to 30 jobs inside, and then there would be, I would say 50 at least in contractors that would be bringing the wood waste into the plant So those people would be basically working on their own, you know, maybe possibly folks that were involved in the timber industry before.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, little
Went on a little trip there.
little trip there. So what
So-
what is the narrative? What about the narrative needs to change in rural Oregon, do you think?
The narrative, what needs to change? I think two things. One is we got to do something about this, and the other one is we can do something about this.
Okay.
But it takes planning, you know, and we're kind of in a planning phase with a lot of this. And what can we do to get ready to plan? And then once we've got some sort of plan, or we understand what our community wants and what they can tolerate, then we need to go out there and recruit and start doing it. This is a several-year process. It took us a long time to get where we are.
Right.
It's going to take us a long time to get someplace else with it.
Things that you need. Internet services. Rural
Yes.
Oregon really needs.
We really, really need that. We're very fortunate. We have fairly decent internet here, but it's not optimum. We do not have redundancy, which means that if internet goes down, which it does here, and sometimes 2 or 3 days at a time, then we don't have any back loop. It comes here and it stops, right? So there isn't a loop so that we can pick it up and bring
I
it
never
back
thought
to
about
us.
that, because we have that in the
that's a
valley as kind of a
problem.
natural thing. So
Yeah, that's a problem, because when we have lost it in the past, when we're down, we're down. And
So is that more of a commitment from political leaders in the state of Oregon to really get broadband or something out here?
yes, I think they're a big part of all of that. One of the things that we really suffer is that folks are in those positions are used to looking at it from an economic base, and also the companies that provide that, the fiber deployment companies and the ISPs, the internet service providers. They need to be able to know that they're going to be able to do that for our community and get reimbursed for it.
Right.
So are there enough people here? Is it economically feasible? And it's like, without subsidy, it's difficult to make that happen.
So Kathy and I have been talking to a lot of people and listening to folks and stuff like that. And it seems to me that when people measure an economy, they're always looking at how much money people make or how many people there are.
Right.
You guys have a different measurement in rural Oregon.
I think so. I think it's quality of life.
Exactly.
I'm going to see if this will get us working again. We'll see. We might lose it again, but we'll figure it out. Technology. I need a backup.
Right. Yeah, we all do. I think it's kind of hard to understand sometimes where to go from here, and we have a lot of needs. I think one of we have challenges. That's why I like to look at it. But the rewards are so good. I mean, I grew up in this community. I left when I was 18 and went to college, and then I was in and out, and while I was going to college, came back for about 3 years in my late 20s, went away again, and I've, had various jobs, mostly in the nonprofit sector and community development, and I really wanted to, at some point, get back here. So there's lots of us
I hear
like
that a lot. I hear that,
there's
like
several of
a
us.
state police officer I met last time
Yes.
we were here. He worked and worked so he could get back
Right.
to a position here in Lake County.
Right, and it's not easy to do that because, of the job issue. But like I said, I think it's easier to get here now with technology and
Jen-
being able to work from home and stuff.
But don't you think people, like, sometimes we forget that when you're measuring life, it's not just about money, it's about safety and taking care of each
Right.
other and having neighbors that know what's going on in your life. And I mean, you guys get things done. That's what Kathy and I have noticed the most is if you want a ski hill,
Thank you.
you volunteer and you run the ski hill.
No, I think it's amazing you guys are using the resources
There's a
that you
place
have.
for everybody. I think sometimes in the larger communities you can kind of get lost and you don't really know your place in the, and I'm talking about community. You don't know exactly where you are, where you fit. And here, there's a need for everybody to have some investment of their time and their person, and their thoughts and their actions. So it's easy to get involved. And if you're a person who really has that need, then this is really the place for you. Because, and especially right now, because we've got a lot of things that we're sort of on the cusp of doing, and we need that help.
That brings up the solar. Tell them about the solar. You guys,
The
this is really
solar.
cool. This is a solar project. And you don't have to get all specific on them, but I just want people to know
Well-
there are things coming up here.
We have several solar projects that have already come and are completed and are up and running. I mean, this is sort of, I think at one point, Lake County, I don't know if we have this this now, but we were like maybe the first or number one in the state in terms of how much solar we had out there, solar arrays out in the desert. So we have, right now on the deck, we have a proposal for about a 7,000 acre solar display out in the northern part of the county. And then we have one that was proposed here locally around the town that was about 5,000 acres, and it's kind of teetering a little bit. Part of that, I think, is the concern about using solar on top of ag land, and there was some question about whether or not that was happening.
But the stuff to the north is on desert.
Yes, it is.
And
yeah.
so
and most of the around here was too. But even thinking about using ag is probably not conducive to people's way of thinking.
How much electricity would that produce?
Oh, I wish I knew.
Okay.
I don't. I'm sorry.
As a former news guy, I always have to ask a lot of questions. But that's exciting. So you have all these new ways that you guys have the land to do things where we don't have that in the valley.
Right. And we have geothermal too.
Oh, that's
right. We have a
right.
lot of geothermal, and some of that is already being put to use in the town in that the hospital, the schools, and the prison that you're going to be visiting are all heated by geothermal.
I was reading about
and there
that.
are, there's potential for a lot more of that, but we haven't
What
quite
I think
got
is
there.
inspiring, though, is when, like in this community and probably in many rural communities that we will find, is that you really do utilize your resources around you and you use them to the best of your ability and to make jobs, to make, whatever the community needs. And it seems like people have to come together to work together. And I don't think that you see that in and it also brings a lot of camaraderie, I think, within your community, pride.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, it's just amazing to me. And I think that sense, I don't know that when we left here the last time, 6 months ago, I fully got all that. I just knew it was a special place. And the more I'm reading, the more I'm talking to people, it's becoming more evident why.
Right.
And it's much more than just friendly people. I mean, you guys are all very friendly, but it's more than that.
I think there's a sense of, and a need for making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, but a knowledge that we can't really do that without each other. And it's been that way here for a long time. It's been somewhat of an isolated community. We're like 96 miles from Klamath Falls, 177 from Bend. I mean, there's other smaller communities around us, but we've really had to be independent, and
But I think people are thirsty for that right now. I think, at first I was going to say, I think it's like the younger generation and, thinking outside the box, wanting to have their lives, not looking, doesn't look like it did for many generations before. But then the more I'm thinking about that, I'm like, but I think it's for many generations. It's not just the youngers. I think we're all thirsty for that.
Well, there's a lot of folks that are my age and a little bit younger even that went out there and they did it. Maybe they grew up here or maybe they didn't, but they went out there and they did whatever they wanted to do for their career, and now they're kind of reflecting and going, I think I kind of want to do something a little bit different. I want to slow down, although I have not slowed down.
Ginger, the slow down.
Not happening here.
But to slow down, this is kind of what we're doing with Exploring It. We're doing a lot more work than we've done with anything else, but it's what we want to do.
Right.
And it's providing value to people, and it's providing inspiration. It gives us a soul. And I think that's really important.
It's a very soulful, passionate thing.
Don't you think the soul gets missed out on economic analysis?
It does.
We're going to bring the soul back to economic and revitalize it. We're revitalizing the soul.
Right.
Ginger, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I love stuff like this. And you guys, I'm going to really quick just turn this around and give you a quick picture of what's going on in here. Share this with your pages. And as Ginger just indicated, we are headed to prison. Not me, my wife. Kathy has been very bad. So we're going to prison. I don't know how much we're going to be able to shoot there. Hopefully we can get out and see some of the project, but we're going to talk to them about some of the really cool things that they're doing. So here we go. I'm going to show you the theater one more time. But look at these old seats. Just like you're stepping back in time. All right, you guys do this for us. Share this on your page. And also, I think we forgot at the beginning, we're going to make right here, but we want to be sure and thank our sponsors. Toyota, your local Toyota dealers, is a sponsor for us because their motto is "Let's go places." And
Lane County, Lake County Chamber of Commerce.
And what they tell us to do, and we never get a chance to because we get to work a lot, but it's kick off your boots and stay a while. So we are going to kick off our boots tonight with a bunch of folks from town. We're going to stay for 5 days, and we're going to keep bringing these stories through our Explore Oregon pages, and we'll share them to other pages. But we could not do this without Toyota, and we could not do this without the Lake County Chamber of Commerce. Your room tax dollars going for good causes to get the word out to the state of Oregon that you're here, you're alive, you have souls, you're wonderful people, and we want them to come visit you and see what you're all about. You done, hun?
We're done. We'll see you guys at the prison.
Oh, yeah. I got to take my wife to prison. Okay, we'll see you guys later. Share this on your pages.